in the project.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Week.
Hello.
All right. So I think we should get started. But today, I already mentioned that on the WhatsApp forum. I would really like us to, just have a glimpse on how we would start a sprint in Jira. So today I would want to assume that we are starting our second sprint. So remember, this is the second half of this program. We've already completed 2 weeks. That's how fast we've gone. So I'd like us to just really, be practical and see how a typical sprint will be created. And then we also create user stories. All right, that's the first thing we'll do before we do our daily Scrum. I'm going to share my screen right now and we get started. So while we do that, does anyone have any question? No, not on our standard. I mean, any question about what we're about to do, any clarification or anything like that? All right, 7 seconds. Okay, so before we get started, I would want to first ask you all or urge you all to, after this class, please go get go install the Jira software on your computer. It's free. The standard one is free. It should be good enough for you to get, play around and, just be practical. I've also shared a recording on our WhatsApp group. You can also use that as a guide to just play around it and get yourself familiar with it. But I first want to make it clear that nobody will be asking you about any Jira on your exam, during your exams. And you don't have to be a Jira or any tool guru to get a job. But it's important that you just have an idea on what's going on, so that just in case they ask you, mute yourself. Thank you. Just in case they ask you anything in your interview around the tool you're using, you should be speaking from a point of, okay, I've seen this before, I've been it before, with more confidence. So that's the reason why you should, play around this tool. So yes, go and just go to our text on the platform on where you should go find free version. If you can also install Azure DevOps, that would be great. You also have a free version for that. All right, let's assume that we're starting a new sprint. Please mute yourself as you join. Thank you. Now, this is when you log into Jira.
Oh, shut my door now.
Please mute yourself. Thank you. So let's assume that you have installed the tool. So as you're in the process of installing your Jira, it's all self-directory. They will direct you on everything you should be clicking. It's that simple. Your phone, to use your phone is more complicated than using Jira. Trust me. Okay. So now I've installed this thing. It's walked me through the process of, creating a project, which I have done. And this is a Scrum team. So typically you will give you 2 options when you're just going in there for the first time. It will give you an option to select a Scrum if you're practicing Scrum or Kanban. And based on the one you select, it's going to create that setup and the board for you. So we are a Scrum team. And now, this is the view. So right now most of the options that you need are typically on the left-hand side and on the top, just like you see here. Most of everything you may need, like menu, anything you may ever need. But keep in mind that the product backlog is usually on the left-hand side. So I want to go to the product backlog view. This is it right here. I'm already in the product backlog view. So if you look here, you will see the roadmap where you plan high level on what you want to execute throughout the project. See, it's very simple. This is what the roadmap looks like. But anyway, as a team, we are focused on the product backlog view. So at this point, we are assuming that the PO has asked for our help to create user stories on what we want to work on during this upcoming sprint. Our sprint is starting today. Well, it's a very bad practice. Okay, so if you look right here, it's asking you to create a sprint. We want to create a sprint. I'm just clicking on the button. And then once I click on that button, I will click on this three. Based on the package you're paying for as well, there may be some little differences, but the standard would look like this. So I want to edit the sprint. I created that sprint, but I want to edit it to add some more information. So this sprint name is something that I already created because I've been using it in previous trainings. This SMT is just a naming convention. As a team, you would agree on whatever you want to name your project and how you want to be naming your sprints. That we call naming convention. It's really no big deal, but what's important is that whatever you decide on be consistent to avoid any confusion. So this SMT really means Scrum Master training. That's really what it means. And we are in sprints, I'd say sprints 2. So our first sprint just ended, like I stated already. Sprints, it may not take it because we already have an existing sprint 2 in there, I believe. Anyway, let's see. We are in sprint 2.1. It really doesn't mean anything. It's just a name. And you want to set the start date of your sprints. As new sprint starts today, 17th, and we are going by a 2-week sprint cycle or a sprint iteration. And then it's going to end on the 17th. So it starts on a Tuesday and it should end on a Monday if it's a 2-week sprint. See? And then it gives us a place to craft a sprint goal. So what is our sprint goal? Tim, what do you think our sprint goal should be? We have 4 sessions to go to finish this program. So what do you think our sprint goal should be?
Passing the exams.
Okay. Ian, I saw your mouth moving, but you're on mute.
Sprint goal should be pass the exam, pass the interview questions, and also get a job by the end of this class.
Okay, that sounds like a very interesting goal, but I already see us failing. Yeah, so remember, you want your goal to be realistic, right? And we are working based on empirical information, based on facts. We have 2 weeks to go. We're still not even done with understanding the concept. And then how do you want to pass the interview now? How is that possible? All right.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Okay. Our goal should be to complete the training module and be ready for exams and moving forward to practice the questions in level 2.
Perfect. I will take that. And let me tell you why I would take that. Because Jess has mentioned two important things: the what and the why. If you're setting a goal and your goal doesn't capture the why, it's not a compelling goal, or it's not inspirational. You want your goal to always have a why, because that why is what inspires people to put in their best. And the why that she has mentioned is so that we can pass our exams. Is that it? Is that what you said, Jess? I can't remember.
Yeah, we can complete and get ready to preparing for exams and pass it, and then get ready to join level 2.
Yes, so the what is to complete all the remaining, well, let me not be that general. Complete chapter.
A training model.
Yes, let's say chapter 4 to 5 to 8. Chapter 5 to 8. I want to be very specific, because your goal should be very specific to avoid any assumptions or confusion. Someone is trying to join. Okay, I don't see nobody waiting. To 8, so that we can say it again. I don't remember. So that we can do it.
So that we would have gotten enough knowledge to write our exams.
So that we can be ready to successfully ace our exams and
move on to practice interview questions.
Okay. And move on to be mentored for interview readiness. Yeah, so that's how a typical goal setting session will happen. And it typically happens maybe during backlog refinement session or sprint planning. But if your goal setting is happening during sprint planning, trust me, then your team is missing something. It means you're kind of late. Usually, if you're doing it well and you're being proactive, backlog refinement sessions, it's the ideal forum for that. And on the day of the sprint planning, we will just be adjusting just in case anything has changed from the last time we met. So that's how it happens. And then that's it. And then I'm going to save it. So we have created our sprints. Now, you see the sprint is empty. We want to start create user stories. But I'm not going to create the user stories in the sprints. I don't want to do that. I'm going to create the user stories in the product backlog, because we want to be refining the user stories, making sure that it meets our definition of ready, whatever definition of ready we've established, and then we discuss them, everything, and then pull them into the sprint. But we're not going to do all of that now, but that's how it works. So this is our product backlog. So on the product backlog view from here, that is if you want to see all of your sprints, this is where you come. All of your sprints, that is the past sprints and the one you're looking to work on. This is, you come to the product backlog view. And that's where your main product backlog is. And then that's where all of the other sprints you've already closed would be. Yeah, so that's really what it is. And then, so here, there are different ways to create user stories. You can create it directly in the product backlog, or you can come here. See, here it mustn't only be user stories. Okay, so I keep calling it user stories, but I need you to understand that user stories is just one of the issue types. In Jira, they call it issue. Whatever problem it is that you all are looking to work on, it's categorized as issue types. And then under this issue type, user story is just one category. And then you see there are other categories. You have bulk. Again, based on the package your organization is paying for, you can continuously customize things to reflect what you need. If it's a portfolio one, like an organizational Jira, which is not a free one, you would see different options in here like spike, you would see dependency, you would see, those are the common ones. You see a user story, there's a task, there's a bug, there's a spike, dependency, those are the different issue types. So based on the one that you're looking to create, you would select the appropriate one. So right now we want to create a user story. Okay. And then, no, I want to go back to this view here. What's this thing? This thing is frozen. All right, let me do it from here. So this our user story is this is the first user story, chapter 5. We're doing chapter 5 today. And then the description, in this description field, this is where you would capture that layout of a good user story. As a Scrum student, I want to be able to complete chapter 5 so that I want to complete chapter 5. No, I want to complete chapter 5 so that I will be able to understand the Scrum events, because I believe that's what we talked about in chapter 5. The Scrum official and optional events. Oh, who are you? All right. Yeah, so this is a layout of a good user story. Now, this is the gap you commonly see in organizations. You would see some teams or a PO that doesn't even know what they're doing. They will just come in here and say, complete chapter 5. That's it. They're not giving the why behind it. And why would I be putting all my effort in it if I don't even see why that's important to the user? That's one impediment. And then another common anti-pattern you see is the PO or whoever is creating that user story. They will not be writing the user story from the user perspective. They're writing the user story from team members' perspective. For example, if let's say Jess is the one creating this user story, Jess will say, and then Jeff is a developer. Jess will say, as a developer, I want to complete chapter 5. What are you doing with chapter 5? So, but that is the common anti-pattern you will see. And you would also realize that when you try to help them understand it, they'll be, especially if it's a senior developer, those people usually think, they always have that feeling of they know everything and they would resist you, some sense of challenge or something. But that's what is going on in most of these organizations. So when you start experiencing this thing, don't be surprised. So that's why I'm just pointing this out to you. But again, with patience and, really help find a way to communicate the gap to them and why it's not ideal for them to be writing the work item from their perspective instead of the user's perspective. You just look for a good way to communicate it and gradually they will get it.
So this is for the user perspective or this is for the team perspective?
So you write user stories from the user perspective, not from the team member perspective. So, but I'm saying that the common anti-pattern you will see is that team members are writing the user stories from their perspective. Like, for example, they'll say, as a developer, I want to complete chapter 5. You are the developer, you're doing the work, you're not the one completing the chapter 5. You see, or I would say for example, as a trainer, a Scrum trainer, I want to complete chapter 5. No, I'm not the one completing chapter 5. It's you, the student, completing it, not me. So yes, you write the user stories from the user perspective so that you can better understand the value that the user is looking to get out of this. And with that, you'll be able to give them exactly what they need so that they can derive that value from it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then, okay, someone is asking something.
Yeah, exactly. And this story also is being gotten from the refinement, right?
What do you mean? I don't think I understand your question.
Okay, as in before the sprint, we're supposed to have done the backlog refinement first before creating the sprint.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So let's assume that we are in a backlog refinement session right now.
Okay.
And best practice, it shouldn't even be happening in backlog refinement session. It should happen even before. The PO should make sure the backlog is ready. All the user stories are in there already, crafted and everything before backlog refinement session. Backlog refinement session teams should only be adding things that were newly discovered, removing things, adjusting, and then what should really be happening in backlog refinement session is discussing the items that the product owner has brought from the product backlog. That's really, if you're doing it right, that's how it should be. All right.
Okay, sorry. And one more thing. And the Scrum Master, is he supposed to help the PO prioritize the backlog?
Yeah, well, if the PO doesn't know how to do it, and which in most cases they struggle, then you help the PO. You help the PO prioritize the backlog, because again, if the PO is failing, you all are failing. If the PO is succeeding, you all are succeeding. And in most cases, it's hardly ever only the Scrum Master. Leadership, engineering manager, all these people, even dev lead, they're always there to help as well, to prioritize and do all this one-man show. Hardly ever in reality. Yeah. Now, this is a user story we've created. As you can see, this is just a template. So once you have this template open, all you have to do is to make sure that it's like any normal form or template that you would need to fill. That's it. It directs you on everything you should be doing. So this is the assignee who will be working on this story, is the person that will be putting the name here. Let's say as we discuss the story, we've estimated the story, and we say, we'll get to the estimation, but let's assume that we've estimated it and it's a 3 story point. Don't ask about the estimation because we'll get there, don't worry. Maybe Azinwi will be the one to work on this as a story. Azinwi said, oh yeah, I think I will take this one. And then we'll put Azinwi's name on it. And then the label. So label is just to capture all of the tasks, for the most part, all of the tasks that we will need to do to accomplish this user story. And remember, I don't know if you're there already, but a good user story should be sliced in a way that will deliver value at the end of the sprint, which means that it must go through the SDLC. And a typical SDLC, a standard SDLC, would be design, development, QA, review. That's really what it is. So yes, that's all. So all these things are the team just, putting this so that they know they can easily just off the bat know the tasks that needs to be done for this user story to be complete. And then this is sprints. This is a sprint that we just created. Story point estimation. So whatever you all have, you are doing. So at this point, you all have already discussed the user story. And then as you discussed it, your whole planning poker game is there. Again, we'll get there. And then you all have estimated the story and agreed that, okay, we think it's a 3 size user story. You come in here and put in the estimate, that's it. And then reporter is usually the person who created the story. It will capture as the reporter. So attachment is where you would enter any helpful information that whoever will be working on the story will need to get the work done. To get a clean work done. So it may be mockups, it may be attachments, it may be pictures, it may be screenshot, anything, whatever it is. This is where you upload all of that information that you think they may be needing to execute the work. And again, because this is a free version, it doesn't really have everything, but normally it should have an acceptance criteria field, just like a description field. Usually right after the description field, there is an acceptance criteria field. That's where you would enter all of the acceptance criteria, as the PO would do that, or whoever is creating that story. But yes, you would need to do that. And this is just something. Let's say if if this story is blocked by anything or would be blocked by anything, you just select this. Or let's say if you're looking, if it's a clone of another work item, you just put it here. This is just really to provide more information. And you select whatever it is cloning to. Let's say if we are cloning this story, we are cloning from this one. You just select it. That's really what it is. And that's it. And then you create, you click on create, the story will create for you. Now, if you're looking to create more than just one story, in our case, we want to create four user stories right now. Yeah, the time is running by so fast. So to make it easy for you, all you have to do is just click on this button, you see? And when you click on create, a new template will automatically open. But if you don't click on this button, you will still have to go start from scratch and fill in everything. So it's just a shortcut to make your life easy. That's it. See, we've already created that user story and the new page has automatically opened for us. And it's already pre-filled with the information we initially filled on the other one. So this one is chapter 6. I'm not going to put in the rest of the information, but it's the same thing you would do. So you do the same and create all the user stories you need. And this one is, okay, chapter 7. Chapter 8. And these are all of the user stories that we need to complete our sprint 2. So now I don't want to create anymore. See, because I uncheck that box, it disappeared. Now you see we have all of our 4 stories that we need in the sprint. And the reason why it's already in this sprint is because I selected the sprint. But normally we should be discussing the stories from the product backlog. I'm moving them in the product backlog just for explanation's sake. So it's just to drag and drop. It's that easy. Just drag it with your mouse and drop it. So in a standard sprints backlog refinement session of sprint planning, assuming that this product backlog is prioritized. So in our case, prioritizing it, we should have 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the order. And we'll be discussing from this one, number 1. Open it, have a conversation, estimate it, all of the necessary information. Now keeping in mind the 3 C's. The card, the conversation, and the confirmation. Once we have our conversation and then we confirm that, okay, we think we are good to go. We think it meets our definition of ready. And we think that we are able to meet the acceptance criteria by the time we are done with this one. We confirm that we are good to go. Once that is done, all you have to do is to say, so as a Scrum Master, you're really the one facilitating. You're the one facilitating. But normally a product owner should be facilitating the backlog refinement session, not a Scrum Master. But the reality, again, is not the case because they hardly ever know what they are doing. I don't know why, but that's the reality. So usually what I would do is I would facilitate like 2, 3, 4 sessions, and we have a discussion up front so that we understand that, okay, this is what the PO should be doing, but I'll help you facilitate some sessions so that you get a feel of what's going on. And once you're comfortable, you can take over. We have that agreement so that along the line, they don't start thinking I'm trying to push my work on them. Okay, so let's assume that we've discussed this one and we are clear that we are good to go. We'll just put it in the sprint bucket. That's it. We do the same for all the user stories that we need. Do the same. So the user story is a card. We have the conversation, estimation, clarify on everything, clarify on acceptance criteria, clarify on the definition of ready, and confirm that, okay, yes, we think we can do this work. And then we pull it into the sprints. That's it. That's all what you would typically be doing in Jira for the most part. Any question?
Yes, just for clarification, for a story point estimate, what exactly do the numbers represent again in terms of 3?
Don't worry. I think that's covered in chapter 7, I believe. So don't worry, we'll get there. You'll have a better understanding. Okay, any other question regarding this whole JIRA walkthrough?
Yes, please, can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
I would like to understand, this program goes to every member of the team, I suppose. Every member of the team has access to one JIRA board
Yes.
that has been programmed.
Mhm.
Who is responsible for filling in the stories?
Okay, so I'm not sure when you connected, but like I said, anybody can create a story, but the PO is accountable for that. The PO should make sure it's happening, but anybody should be capable of creating the story, filling out everything like we just did. Anybody should be able to do that.
Oh, just like the team is being cross-functional.
Yes, yes, exactly. So how do you feel about that?
Of course.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take out, because I know that when it comes to tools, for some reason, that's been my experience, it creates some kind of fear in people. I don't know why, but I just need you all to understand that it's very simple. Using my phone, to me, is difficult than doing that JIRA thing. Because to use my phone, nobody is giving me some template or some guide to follow to use the phone. You click things and figure it out. But on the JIRA thing, you have all the guide, everything. Even if you're not sure on something, on how to, let's say you don't know how to create a user story, all you have to do is go to Atlassian website, because Atlassian is the owner of JIRA. Go to Atlassian website and just type in it how to create a user story. They give you step-by-step guide on how to do it. You see all this information that is on YouTube on how to do this, that's where they go get it and put it on YouTube in a video form for you all to consume. Atlassian site is the best and #1 credible source where you can get any information on how to use this tool, because they are the owners and they have the guide, everything that you need to be successful. So sometimes when people go to pay to learn JIRA, it just baffles me. Because in level 2, I see people doing that, even when I told them that you don't need to go spend that money, but they don't believe me. And I cannot stop them. So what these trainers even will tell you in this JIRA training is will not be up to 10% of what you can go on that side and learn on your own. The same for Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps, you go to Microsoft website, because Microsoft is the owner of Azure DevOps. Everything step by step you would need is there for you to consume. So please keep that in mind, because you would definitely need that. All right. So someone has screenshot this thing, and Elizabeth, and he's showing us. All right.
Sorry, one more question. But
Okay.
along the line, we're going to talk about how to break down the items into epics, features, stories, and the technical depth, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I didn't get what you're saying.
No, I said we'll still, as along the line, you're going to talk on how to break down the features, like there's the stories, and like to break it down from the epics, the features, and the what's it called, the stories, the technical depth. As you talk more about that, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I think if it's not in chapter 6, it should be chapter 7. We've covered that there.
Okay.
So yes, you will definitely see all of that. Okay, so team, let's quickly break out, and we should have maximum 5 minutes in each breakout room to do our daily Scrum. I'm just creating the breakout session, the breakout rooms right now. That's what I'm doing. And now I would want to assume that we all should already have and I mean, we should already have a sense of all the Scrum values. So there is no point for me naming the rooms by the Scrum values anymore, because you all should now know what the Scrum values are, and you should already know how important these values are, because that's really the purpose of me naming the rooms all the time like that. So I wouldn't bother naming these rooms anymore. Just add one room. And then, okay. Just want to put 3 people in one room. Okay, see you all in 5 minutes. That's gonna be 6:40 Central Time PM. Let's just give a few seconds. All right, so let's start with room 1. That's Joyce's room.
All right, so I am the Scrum for today. I'm in my group. It was Takumbo and Lady Pearl. So I guess I'll start with myself. I was able to accomplish going back to reread, to rewatch the first 2 videos and get myself refamiliarized. My only impediment coming into class today was right before class about the JIRA, but through watching the video, I was able to get more of a understanding, seeing the practical side of what we're all learning about. What I hope to accomplish is just getting more familiar with everything, the JIRA, going in to watch the video that you sent in its entirety. But so far, so good. Takumbo, she had...
Okay, so let's just focus on the impediments.
Okay, yeah, she had no impediments. She says she just wants to keep going through it until it becomes second nature to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lady Pearl, she her impediment was in chapter 5 with in regards to creating user story. But she said that, and as we began this session and she listened and watched you, she was able to understand a little bit more. She just has to go back and watch the video and go over chapter 5 as well again. But yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Scrum Master.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move on to room 2. That is Christine's room.
Oh, yes. Oh, mommy.
Yeah. I was a Scrum Master for today. Actually, I really did not have any impairment. But what I didn't really understand was about the JIRA. So Christine tried to enlighten me that it's a software. And then come to Christine, she talked of, can she just go to level 2 rather than level 1, because she's in school now and it's so heavy on her side to continue with level 1, then level 2, because she said she already registered for level 2. Then I said, the coach is gonna answer that. And then come to learn, his experiment was that why is a product backlog not an official event? So we could not answer that too. We said we're gonna bring it to you.
Oh, Ian, we asked this question. Thank you so much, mommy. Thank you so much. And also for me, what I was asking is because I have already I have registered for level 2. Do I have to take the exam at the end of level 1 before starting level 2? So that's what I was asking.
Okay, no problem. We'll talk about it.
And Ian has his question. Thank you so much, mommy.
All right. Thank you, Scrum Master. That was good.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move on to room 3.
I'm sorry, Ian had that impediment that he wanted to ask, please. So you can write it down because I don't think mommy asked it properly.
Oh, Ian.
Uh-huh.
So if your impediment is not covered, Ian, can you tell
I
us?
ask it. I say, why is the product backlog not an official event? I think that was.
I wrote that.
Okay.
I wrote that down. Ian, is there any other impediment?
Oh, no, it was, why isn't the product backlog refinement session an
I
official
thought as
event?
much. I assumed that's what you meant, but I wrote what I heard. So.
Right.
All right, no problem.
Oh.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to room 3. Room 3. Bisoye, that's your room.
Health was the group.
Elvis
was
was the Scrum Master.
Elvis
was the Scrum Master.
Elvis, please. Focusing on impediments.
Yes, I was the Scrum Master for our team. I was made of Bisoye and Jesse. Myself, I didn't have any impediment. At first, I had a little confusion with the why, how, and what concepts, but I've just today, after going through the Scrum Guide again, I kind of get that concept. At least Jesse doesn't have any impediment, and Bisoye, let me see. Bisoye asked the question. Where did I write that question? Just now.
Okay, maybe we
I
can hear from Bisoye directly.
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I wrote down something from you.
All right. I think then nobody had an impediment.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Scrum Master.
Thank you.
Okay, let's hear from room 4. That is Blessing's room. Blessing.
Which one? My Blessing?
No, not Blessing D.
Okay.
Well, they are all Blessing D, not Blessing the one who just spoke, the other Blessing.
Blessing, are you there?
So who was a Scrum Master for that room? Ade is also a member.
Oh, yes.
Ade.
Yes, I'm the Scrum Master.
Okay.
Yes, we had no impediments. We watched the video 5 and we're planning on watching it again like twice so we can get more details, because it's like the more you watch the videos, the more findings you try to get and jot down. So we had no impediments.
Okay, great, thank you. So that's the advantage of this setup, and you all have to be thanking the whole coronavirus. Because it didn't used to be so. You come to class, you listen to me speak for 2 hours, 3 hours. You make your notes, you're on your own. See, so at the end of the day, the corona wasn't all negative. All right, let's move to room 5. That's Blessing, the Blessings room.
Okay, I was the Scrum Master for my group, my team. And I did not have any impediments. The team was made up of Sharifa and Nathi and myself. Sharifa did not, Nathi did not have any impediments, but Sharifa had one impediment. And I would allow Nathi to go ahead and ask the question.
Okay, thank you, Scrum Master.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Karen, if you put me in one group with Sharifa again, whenever I meet Sharifa, we spend our first few minutes laughing like, girl, I need to know other people in this class. Everything Sharifa.
You should be glad that's going on, because it doesn't always happen like that. I always find myself insisting, encouraging people to connect. That's funny, but I'm happy.
All right. So Sharifa had a question, and you know how you advised us that a good practice will be the Scrum Master meeting the product owner before the spring refinement and backlog refinement and all that stuff to talk about the product backlog items. So her question was, you as a Scrum Master, if you don't know these things, if you don't really know what goes into all those sprints, and then you're talking with the product owner and he's giving you the items he has listed for the product backlog, how do you now know if these items are invest? Since you're just the Scrum Master, how do you know if these items are small enough to fit into the sprint? How do you know if they're valuable enough? How do you know if they're estimable enough to fit into the sprint? If the Scrum Master is ignorant, how is he going to advise the product owner on how to order the product backlog? So that was her question.
Awesome. That's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nafi.
All right. Awesome. Great. So let's move on to room 6. That's Glory's room. Abeldin and Ijoma. Who was the Scrum Master for that room?
Glory was the Scrum Master.
Okay. Glory, are you there? Glory?
Okay, I think I can speak for her.
Okay.
Yeah, we all did not have any impediments. So my question was also like familiar with what Sharifa asked, like if the product owner, especially when you meet a team that the product owner doesn't really understand how to prioritize this thing, and you as a Scrum Master, you also don't know how to do it. So what disaster are you bringing to that organization?
You just go home and fire
yourself.
Okay.
So I said how to like break down the story, slice them, and just
all right. We'll talk about that. Okay. Thank you. And then room 7. Oh, we had a lot of rooms today. Benedicta, Monier, and Nene were in the same room.
Okay, so for room 7, I was the Scrum Master today. Yeah. And so for me, I didn't have any impediments. I still have to go through chapter 5 some more. I think I'm like 40 minutes in, or for today. And Miss Nini, she didn't have any impediments, but she is going to go over her knowledge check today. And Benedicta, she didn't have any impediments. She was able to go through chapter 5, but she feels it was a lot of information. So she's going to go back over it once again so that she's able to comprehend more with the information.
All right. Thank you, Monier. Appreciate it. All right, we now have the last room. That's Billy's room. So we had a phone number. We had Billy and Esther in the same room.
Okay, so good evening, Coach. I was the Scrum Master for my group.
Yay.
Okay, so Esther didn't have any impediments. Fatima had one. She said she wanted to find out if the question and answers we are going through now, if it's really worth studying it. Like, is it the main questions we're going to meet there when we go for our exams? And for me, I didn't have any impediments.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, so let's address the few we've captured here and try to be efficient as much as possible. So, even though this wasn't captured as an impediment, but I think we should just talk about it, just clarify. So it's on, so Ellie, I know they had a conversation on what JIRA is and all of that. I just want to add to the explanation you already got. JIRA is a tool. It's a software that organizations use to manage the progress of their work and track issues. That's really what it is. So because you want to be able to capture all the information around what you're working on for accountability, for visibility, for transparency, JIRA allows you to do that. And then the substitute for JIRA, you would hear of Azure DevOps, you hear of Rally, you hear of version 1. Yeah, those are the other tools that some other organizations would prefer to use. But the one that you commonly hear is JIRA. And in my opinion, now I'm the one talking. The reason why you commonly hear JIRA is because they've done a very good job in marketing their product. So that's why it's very, very popular out there, and most organizations are using it. That's really why. Okay, I'm not sure who Samuel is, but I see Samuel trying to join our class. All right, let me just add the person and find out. Hi, Samuel. I see Samuel trying. I just added Samuel. Who is Samuel, please?
I think it's Glory. She's having issues connecting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just want to be careful. Hope it's not some hackers or some, I don't know. Okay. So Christine is wondering if she can just go to level 2. To me, I would be glad if everyone is just able to go to level 2, but I don't think it will be good for you. Unless you think that you're good with what's going on in level 1. I mean, you already have access to all of your materials. So if you're saying that you're comfortable already to move to level 2, then why not? But it's not recommended. Because the goal for level 2 is to help you, build you up to be a true leader and understand what it takes to land a job. If you don't have a certification, even if you land the job, you're not keeping the job. That's why level 1, we suggest that you get your certification so that when you get to level 2, you will not be worried about, you will not be multitasking and confused. You just need you to be focused, finish 1, and then move to level 2. Knowing that you have your certification, you're grounded with the concept, you're just focused on mentoring so that you will land your job.
Okay, that is really clear. Thank you so much. So, I mean, I will not stress myself that much.
Exactly. Don't even worry yourself at all about level 2. Just focus on what we're doing here. Your goal right now is to get that foundation. That's very important. Those that are already in level 2, that are currently in level 1 can tell you.
I'm sorry, I had computer issues. I'm using my son's. I didn't have time to put my right name. I'm sorry.
No problem. That's okay. We're glad you're back. Okay, so why is the product backlog refinement session not an official one? Ian, that's a good question. I'm also asking the same. Why is it not an official one? Seriously. So one of the questions that these interviewers, they started asking now, and it's a very, very popular question. If you have the opportunity to change one thing in Scrum, what would that be? I always tell them backlog refinement session. I'm going to make it official because I have seen how important and valuable it is. So I don't know why it's not official, but I'm very sure that in the future, it's going to become official. I'm very sure of that. And the reason why I'm very sure about that is because on the event of the launching of the release of this recent Scrum Guide, the 2020 version in that November, that was part of the discussion. And when it was the time to discuss any suggestion for improvement and stuff like that, after Jeff Sutherland, who is one of the founders of Scrum, already went through the analysis of the new Scrum Guide, most people were asking the same question. And I also asked that question that, okay, we all have seen how important backlog refinement sessions are. Why is it not official? And he said, well, that's something that they're deliberating on, but nothing is certain yet. So that's why I feel that it may become an official in the future. But for now, there is no reason why. Yeah. Okay. How do you know if work items are, all right, how do you know if work items meet the inverse criteria if you're just a Scrum Master and you don't know the size of this, you don't have an understanding of the inside of the user story to even know if it's a big one or a small one and all of that. You cannot know like that. That is why As a Scrum Master, you should be good in asking powerful, meaningful questions. That is your tool as a Scrum Master. That is what we call coaching, professional coaching. You asking questions to uncover issues. So they will be the one telling you. So all what you have to know instead is to know your invest criteria or to understand what a healthy product backlog should look like. As long as you know those criteria of a healthy product backlog, you will use that as a guide to guide your PO. For example, let's say we are in this meeting. I usually call it backlog health check meeting. It's a meeting that I would typically have with the PO before a backlog refinement session, just to make sure that the product backlog is ready because I'm that proactive. So I have my guide. And what's my guide? The deep criteria and the invest criteria. That's my guide. So I'm asking the PO, okay, so do you think we have all the items that we need to accomplish the goal for this upcoming sprints? So maybe we have like 1,000 items in the product backlog. Just because we have 1,000 items in product backlog, it doesn't mean that the items we need to work on this upcoming sprints are in that backlog. Trust me, because sometimes these product owners, they don't update nothing. You see work items that have been in there even before you were born, they're still in there. So when you come there, you start helping them through these questions to guide them to make sure to follow, the invest criteria, the deep criteria. So that's a typical first question I'll ask them. So what are we looking to accomplish this upcoming sprints? The PO can, start thinking, oh, okay, what's the goal for this sprint? Start recalling the conversation he had with the customers. And then the PO can just do a draft on that goal place in the Jira. If you're using Jira, draft a goal there, but it's not confirmed because the PO will have to confirm that with the team. And then my next question will be, okay, based on this goal, do you think we have all the items that we need to achieve that goal? That now we are provoking the PO's thought, and then the PO would quickly glance through the backlog, and then the PO may be like, oh yeah, I think yesterday I took out time to make sure all the stories are created. Or the PO may be like, no, I didn't have any time and I don't even know the stories. The PO may not even know the stories. That's the reality. And the PO, if the PO is very prideful, I don't even know if that's the right word, but the PO can just now be pretending and saying something like, the PO will not openly say that they don't know the stories because they don't feel comfortable to be vulnerable like that. The PO will just be doing this like that, and you don't understand what the PO is doing. And the PO will say, okay, don't worry, I'll create the stories after this meeting. We trust that the PO will do it. Come to backlog refinement session, the PO has not done it. And then the PO is now asking the team, so what are the stories that we need to do the work? So when you realize, when you see, now you're observing as a Scrum Master, and then you catch this funny behavior. What I would do as a Scrum Master after the meeting, I'm not going to put the PO on the spot right there. No, you don't want to do that either because the PO will hate you and you need the PO to be your ally. So right after the meeting, I would look for an opportunity to connect with the PO to really have a conversation. And, from there, I start creating that psychological safety for the PO to understand that I'm just here to help. And I don't know everything either. And I don't expect you to know everything. So we all are learning together. So I'll try to have an open, honest conversation to really understand the PO's background on the agile ways of working. And then from there, I'll come up with ways to help the PO so we all can grow. So, but yes, that's usually the structure of the conversation. So so right there, you ask that question and then you and the PO can start generating the user stories if the user stories are already created. And then on that zip criteria, I'm going on the D part. So these user stories, are they detailed enough? And when I'm talking about detailed enough, let me still go ahead and share my screen here. We are 5 minutes over, but that's okay. If you are not able to stay, please feel free to go. We will record. We have the recording. I want to just go back and show you what guides me to know, because a PO may say, yes, it is detailed enough, but this Jira can guide me to know if the PO even understands what he's saying or not. I'm sharing my screen. All right. So this is our product backlog. That's this one. And then I want to open this story. I just want to maximize this thing. All right, so I would typically use this as a guide. I don't think, no, how can I edit this? Anyway, let me just close out of this one for the sake of time. So let's just assume that this is a user story. So this is your template, and what will prompt me to know if the PO says it's detailed enough? I have my key things that I'm looking for. If the PO tells me that the user story is detailed enough, and then I come to the description, I don't see any description, I see this field blank, that's already a cue for me. And then the acceptance criteria field, which I told you all that is missing here because it's a free version. If I see that, because those are the key information that you want it available for the team. If I see the acceptance criteria field blank as well, it's already a queue. I'm asking the PO, oh, you said it's detailed enough, but I see that the description is empty. And then the PO may say something like, oh, yeah, I think I missed that one. And then they'll go ahead and fill it. Sometimes they don't even know what the hell we're talking about. And then with that, they may say, oh, what's supposed to be in this field? And then at that point, you seize that opportunity to guide them on how to write a good user story. That's really how it works. And then that's it. But on the assignee and estimate, it's supposed to be empty because the team is supposed to be the one to put in that information through conversation. Well, you or the PO will now complete that remaining information during backlog refinement session or sprint planning session. See, but that's my cue to know whether the story is truly detailed enough or not. And then the other one is emergent. So this product backlog have you emerged the product backlog? So I'm just gonna get out of this right now. So I'm asking the PO also, have you emerged the product backlog? Is it emerged already? And then the PO may be like, what do you mean by that? And then I'll say, okay, have you updated this backlog based on the feedback from our previous sprints? And then with that guide, if the PO has not done it, they will know they have to do it. That's really how I do it. And then you just follow the zip criteria as well, and then hint on the inverse criteria. And then when we go to the sprint or backlog refinement session, we are refining the stories. Even if now with our definition of ready, when the team is saying that, yeah, we think we are good to go. And then you see that the story they are saying they are good to go has been estimated as a 23 size story. And at the task level, they say that they will take approximately, let's say 120 hours to finish that user story. Right there, you know that it's already failure. And then that's an opportunity for you. You say, oh, you say the story is ready, but going by the inverse criteria, a story must be small enough to fit into just one sprint. So you're not telling them what to do. You are just guiding them on what a good story should look like. With that understanding, they will now think, okay, what should we do? Do we need to split the user story? Then that conversation starts happening, and then they figure out a way to split that user story to fit into one sprint. That is really how it works in real life. So as a Scrum Master, you don't need to know the size of that user story or the details, what the details should look like. You only have to ensure that it is detailed enough. You have to ensure that it is small enough and all of that good stuff just by using that guide that you've learned through this program to guide your team and your PO. So is that clear?
Oh my God, Sharifa asked this question, but I think it's benefited all of us. You explained it so well. I don't think I could find a better understanding of this anywhere else.
All right, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have here? Fatima is asking if it's worth going through the questions and answers in there. Anything you see in there, Fatima, is worth studying. Those questions, it's worth practicing. And the thing about those questions is that you will not even see those questions anywhere for free. You will not. If you go online, you will pay for these questions you have in there. to be able to have access to them to practice. The ones that you typically see online for free are not important questions. Usually the ones online for free, you can only have like 10 out of 100 come during the exams. But those questions see in there, especially the one that is labeled, that is in a separate folder, that is labeled PSM exams. At least 85% of those questions will repeat. At least 85%. It may not repeat word for word, but they may just switch the words, but it will be the same thing. So for your own good, take it very seriously. All right.
Thank you.
No problem. So we're 12 minutes over, and that's it for our impediments. So team, please, again, for those who connected late, even though I know the recording will be available to you, as you go home, please try to download a free version of the Jira tool, Azure DevOps as well. And when you have the time, just play around it, so that you start getting acquainted to that tool, so that it will not be, very strange to you, or anytime you think about it, your heart is pounding for no reason.
Where do we download it on our computer, please? Because we have it on our phone. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't need to even have that on your phone. You should have it on your computer for effective usage. So
Yes,
just go, so this is what I'll tell you. Just go on Google, type free version Jira.
Free version.
Yeah, free download Jira. That's it.
Another way you can do it is if you go to your laptop, go to your Google, search for WhatsApp. It will show you a WhatsApp link. You can merge it with your phone, and your WhatsApp will be downloaded on your phone, and then you can click on the link and it will be on your laptop.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. That's good to know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that the video you sent to the group, I've already sent it to.
Jess, I think we lost you. Yeah, I realized that your connection has not been very good today, Jess. Okay, I guess Jess will carry that conversation next week. All right, any other question before we go, team? Any other comments? Not only a question. I don't think I want question though, but
thank you. I would say you really explained the drive. I mean, I was a little bit like, okay, what is this? What is it? I thought we were not going to have anything technical. In my head, I'm like, okay, what is this? But after explaining it from the beginning of the class, it kind of synced in. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I already had it on my laptop that I'll just try to input things and see how it goes. Thank you.
No problem. And then one other thing too, for those who always appreciate or value more training, paid training, because some people just really want that, you can go to Udemy. Udemy has very, very practical tutorials on Jira, on any of these tools. So just go to Udemy, and I think you would pay like $12 to get access to the training, something like that.
Yeah, today they have a huge sales going on.
Oh, you see? Yeah. So just take advantage.
You can get it like for $6, $9.
Yeah. So yeah, great. That's good to know. So that's it for today, team, and see you all on Thursday next week. Please.
Thank you so much.
Thank